or what should happen to them. So that's under strengthening the health system. There are various other things that are going on, and I'm sure you see them from time to time. We don't get much media coverage unless it's bad coverage, but there are a lot of really positive things going on. In terms of legislation, of course, there's the Act. The regulations were published 3 months ago. Next week is the end of the 3-month comment period. There have been 898 comments received so far. Some of them are just rude comments, where, as people did during the Act, where they just send out a mass mailing list. But there are some very constructive comments, and we will start to integrate those comments into the draft regulations from the 7th of June. We've given ourselves 1 month to incorporate those comments, and then we will approach the President to proclaim certain sections of the Act to enable us to implement at least sections 12 to 30, which will mean that we will have the governance structure in place. But there's a whole range of other sections which will come into effect at the same time. We also have been busy for a year and a half with the Competition Commission on trying to regulate the prices in the private sector. Many of you will know the history. In 2008-9, the Competition Commission ruled against the regulation of pricing in the private sector. We've had this void until the health market inquiry, then COVID got in the way, and now since then we've been working with the Competition Commission to find alternative ways that are legal for regulation of pricing in the private sector. We've been informed last week that the same parties who've taken us to court are objecting to anything that will regulate their prices, and are going to take us to court on those as well. So we met with the Competition Commission earlier this week, and they will continue to engage with those people, and we will continue to engage with them. The third of the 5 activities that are prescribed in Section 57.2a is the establishment of institutions that will be foundational for the implementation of national health insurance. And there are 2 primary institutions that we are busy with at the moment. The one is that on the Minister's desk at the moment is a submission for the appointment of the Ministerial Advisory Committee on Benefits. A lot of work has been done, but now it's got to move into that advisory committee, who will set the framework in place for the permanent advisory committee, which is a statutory committee of the Act, which will come into place sometime towards the end of this year or early next year, if all goes well with our implementation. The second one is on health technology assessment. And what health technology assessment is attempting to do is to make sure that there's evidence for the choices that we make in what we include in a package, whether it's the benefit itself or whether it's subcomponents of the benefit like medicines and devices and so forth. In that health technology, we've been working with the NHI, which is the National Institute for Clinical Excellence in the United Kingdom, for the past year, as well as with the Philippines. And we now have the technical working group has put the mandate together for the appointment of the Ministerial Advisory Committee. That's also in the Minister's office at the moment. The fourth of the 5 interventions is on vulnerable populations. So the main issue here is to make sure that we start putting the primary healthcare integrated system in place. So Prof. Musa spoke about what they've learned in Chiawela. There have been other institutions and other activities that have been going on. And in fact, we've now recruited him from the 1st of July as part of our team permanently. So he'll move away from Gauteng. Thank you for letting him go, Gauteng. And the team is getting bigger and stronger, and we are now working very solidly in all 9 provinces, including the Western Cape, on contracting units for primary healthcare, where the capitation package, in fact, yesterday we spent an hour and a half with the World Health Organization head office talking about the packages, and the day before we had a workshop with Wits University's price list, where we are looking at exactly how to go about the pricing. There's costing and then there's pricing, but it's sitting physically being managed by the CSIR for us. We need to move all these things into the fund's ambit, and to do that, we need to operationalize the fund. So sections 9, which establishes the entity, 10, which gives it its functions or its mandate, and 11, which gives its powers to start employing people. Now, that is what these first set of regulations are focusing on. We hope to have the board and the advisory committees in place by the end of the year. We've put very transparent processes in place for the recruitment of these bodies. And then the board must recruit a CEO so that by April, May next year, we should have a CEO for this organization. That's at that point, we can start using the Labour Relations Act, Section 189, to transfer the handful of staff that are currently in the National Department of Health into the fund as employees of the fund, and transfer the assets and start really building the administration. Last comments I want to make is that while this is going on, we are preparing for phase 2. You don't wait until you finish with phase 1. Phase 2 will catch us. It will come at the end of 26 as we move into 27. And that's the point at which Section 49, which is the flow of the money, will come into effect. Remember this fund, there's no NHI fund at the moment. There's no NHI. All the money that people in Parliament are stamping their feet about is all health system strengthening. The money needs to come into the fund through the provisions of Section 49 for the fund to start purchasing healthcare services. That will happen through the budget process. And what it says in Section 49 is that the first call on that money is conditional grants, provincial equitable share, and monies that are sitting in other government departments, for instance, correctional services. And that needs to be planned carefully and sequenced so that when the services are purchased by this administration, that's all in place. So we're busy with that, and it's got lead time attached to it. The second part of that funding is the tax credits. The Minister spoke about it, 33, 34 billion rands worth of tax credits. If we remove the tax credits from people who earn over 1 million rand a year, we would bring in 7 billion. Now, if you're earning 1 million rand a year, and many people have got spouses who are earning another million in that same household, if we take away 340 rand per person from your household in a month, it just means you can't go to the Spur for breakfast once a week. Or once a month. That's the value of money that you would not see go, and we would put 7 billion rand into the national health insurance. So that's the kind of discussions we are having. We want to get that into a fund so that we can use it to get the capacity running and start making payments in primary healthcare space. My very last comment, because you want to wrap up, is that amidst all of this, I spend 50% of my time with lawyers, dealing with court cases. And the content of the applications against us is frankly pathetic. Thank you.